Today's lesson is about using rules to add and subtract integers. So we're going to move away from number lines. We're still going to use them if we need, but we're trying to move away from number lines and move towards just using rules to add and subtract integers. So our objective is I can understand and apply integer rules to add and subtract integers when given number sentences and word problems. We'll incorporate word problems throughout the unit. Today I'm going to focus on number sentences. Rules for adding and subtracting integers. The first thing you need to do always is rewrite any double signs as single signs. Double signs are two signs right next to each other that are touching. So the only time you have a double sign is when you have two signs right next to each other touching. So do you see how we have these two signs right next to each other? That would be considered a double sign. This out here is just attached to that 4. That's a -4. That's not part of the double sign. These two signs, you're here, the next thing you hit is another sign, that's a double sign. You need to rewrite that as a single sign. So what you always do is you keep your first number, change your double sign to a single sign, plus a positive. When you're adding a positive, that's just plus. So that becomes -4 plus 2. So now I look at this second one. Again, this -4 is just a -4. This is the double sign, two signs touching. And we've discussed subtracting a negative is the same as adding a positive. So minus a negative becomes plus, so that's -4 plus 2. Again, -4 just stays, but here's where that double sign is. Plus a negative becomes minus. So that's -4 minus 2. And finally, sometimes we have minus a positive. So again, that -4, that first number just remains. And then as soon as you hit two signs touching, that's a double sign. Rewrite it as a single. Minus a positive becomes minus. So that's -4 minus 2. So that's the first item. Anytime we want to start adding and subtracting integers just using rules, getting away from number lines, step 1, rewrite all double signs as single signs. So what I want you to do is I want you to try to rewrite this double sign as a single sign. What does plus a negative become? So you rewrite that as an expression with a single sign there. That becomes 4 minus 2. Plus a negative is minus. Let's try another one. How about 4 minus a -2? Take that double sign, rewrite it as a single. Try it out. Minus a negative becomes a plus. Taking two signs, rewriting it as a single sign. So that becomes 4 plus 2. How about 4 minus a +2? Try that one out. Minus a positive becomes minus. 4 minus 2 is how you'd rewrite that. Finally, double sign is a single sign. I sure hope we all know adding a positive, we just need to write an addition sign. Excellent. So that's writing double signs as single signs. Once we write our double signs as single signs, in this case, -4 plus a +2. Plus a positive, you just write as a single sign as plus. So that becomes -4 just plus 2. And that's how you'd rewrite that. After you write your double signs as a single sign, you circle the sign that goes with the number. So you take this new statement that we've just written, I rewrote it down there, and you circle the sign that goes with the number. It's the sign right in front of the number, not the sign behind the number, but the sign right in front of the number. So that minus is attached to that 4, that plus is attached to the 2. So that's the key, circle the sign that goes with the number. Then what you're going to do is you're going to ask yourself, are those signs the same or are those signs different? Well, the sign on that 4 is a negative. The sign on that 2 is a positive. Those signs are different. Signs are different, find the difference. That means we subtract. Signs are different, find the difference. What's the difference between 4 and 2? Well, 4 minus 2 is 2. The difference between 4 and 2 is 2. Then you ask yourself, are there more positives or more negatives? Well, there's 4 negatives. That's minus 4. That means there's 1, 2, 3, 4 negatives. There's only 2 positives. There's only 2 positives. So what do we have more of? We have more negatives, so we will keep the negative. So negative 4 plus 2 is a negative 2. That's using our rules. Negative 4 plus 2 is a negative 2 using our rules. If we go to the number line and we say, okay, we're at 0, I'm going to hop down here to negative 4. Adding a positive 2 means move to the right 2. Where do I end up? Oh, it sure works on the number line. But you're going to find when we get larger numbers, like soon we're going to be adding negative 50 plus 78. You're not going to want to draw a number line and go to negative 50 and move 78 to the right. So we need to start falling back on these rules to help us. So we're going to go through a few more examples. So what if the signs are the same? Now as I look at this expression, 4 plus 2, the first thing I notice, there are no double signs. So I'm like, phew, no double signs. I can skip step 1. So now we're just going to circle the sign that goes with the number. If I look at that 4, there doesn't appear to be a number or a sign in front of that 4. We remember if there's no sign in front of the number, it's always positive. Are the signs the same or are the signs different? The sign's the same. We're going to find the sum. That 4 is positive. That 2 is positive. Signs are the same. Find the sum. That means you just add them up. What's the sum of 4 and 2? The sum of 4 and 2 is 6. Are there more positives or more negatives? Well, let's take a look. There's 4 positives. There's 2 more positives. Hey, we only have positives running around. All you have is positives, so your answer must be positive. So that answer is a positive 6. Let's just quick check it on the number line. 4 plus 2. So if I'm at 4 and I'm adding 2, I'm moving 2 to the right. Excellent. Our rule got us where we need to be. So we're going to do a lot of practicing here. We're going to evaluate several of the following together. We're going to write all double signs as single signs. Then we're going to circle the sign that goes with the number. If the signs are the same, we're going to find the sum, which means we'll add them. If the signs are different, we'll find the difference, which means we'll subtract the 2 numbers. And when we add and subtract, we ignore those signs. And then we end up keeping what we have more of. So let's go ahead and take a look. Let's do negative 3 plus a negative 4. Negative 3 plus a negative 4. My first step is rewrite double signs as a single sign. Plus a negative becomes minus. So I rewrite this as negative 3 minus 4. Hopefully you've done that. Then we're going to circle the sign that goes with the number. You just circle the sign right in front of the number. So that minus goes with the 3. That minus goes with the 4. Are the signs the same or the signs different? Those are both minus signs. Those signs are the same, so we're going to find the sum. We're going to add them. What do we get when we add 3 and 4? We get 7. What do we have more of? Well, we have 3 negatives, and we have 4 more negatives. Hey, we only have negatives running around. That's how I know my answer is a negative 7. We can check that on a number line if you want. So we start over here, 0 to negative 3. You'll remember, if we're adding a negative, we are moving to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4 on our number line gets us to negative 7. Our rule works. Let's try the next one. Let's try this one here. Negative 5 minus a negative 2. Step 1, write double signs as a single sign. Double signs are those signs touching each other right there. Minus a negative becomes plus. So then we have negative 5 plus 2. Next step, circle the sign that goes with the number. So I circle that sign right in front of the 5. That's a negative. Then I circle the sign that goes with the 2. That's a positive. Are those signs the same or are those signs different? Well, that's a negative sign. That's a positive sign. Those signs are different. Find the difference. So off to the side, what's the difference between 5 and 2? You just do 5 minus 2 is 3. 5 minus 2 is 3. What do I have more of? Well, let's see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negatives. I only have 1, 2 positives. What do I have more of? Oh, I have more negatives. How many more negatives do I have? I have 3 extra negatives. So that answer would be a negative 3. We can check that one on the number line if you want. I'd start at negative 5. I'd go 0 down to negative 5. Subtracting a negative, same as adding a positive. So subtracting a negative, I move right. I move right 2 places. Hey, it works, -3. Let's try the next one. Double signs is a single sign. Minus a positive becomes a minus. So your first number just remains as it is. That's a -3. Then I do minus a positive, became a minus. -3 minus 7. Second step, circle the sign that goes with the number. Are those signs the same or are those signs different? Those signs are the same. They're both negatives. Those signs are the same. I'll find the sum, so I'll add them. That's 10. What do I have more of? Well, let's see. I have 1, 2, 3 negatives, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 negatives. Hey, all I have is negatives running around. That's 10 negatives. Again, check it on the number line if you'd like to. So I start here, 0 to -3. I'm subtracting a positive. Subtracting a positive means move to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yay, I end up at -10. I'm not going to continue to do the number lines. I just have done that for those 3 examples. So you can see your number lines will still get you to the correct answer, but when we start adding and subtracting numbers like -200 plus 153, you're not going to want to go to -200 and move 153 places to the right. You're just not going to want to. So these rules will become very important when we start working with larger numbers. So let's do -4 plus 6. Hey, there are no double signs. I don't have to worry about step 1. So then I just circle the sign that goes with the number. That's the sign right in front of the number. Are those signs the same or are those signs different? Those signs are different. That one's a minus, that one's a plus. Signs are different. Find the difference. What's the difference between 6 and 4? The difference between 6 and 4 is 2. What do you have more of? Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 negatives. Oops, sorry about that. It happens. And I have 6 positives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 positives. Oh, I definitely have more positives. How many more positives? I have 2 extra positives. Well, that's not good. It keeps jumping. Sorry about that. -2 minus 9. Again, there are no double signs, only a single sign. So I circle the sign that goes with the number. Those signs are the same. I'll find the sum. What's the sum of 9 and 2? That means we add them. The sum of 9 and 2 is 11. What do I have more of? Well, I have 2 negatives. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 negatives. Hey, I only have negatives running around. How many negatives do I have running around? I have 11 negatives running around. Last one on this page, -2 plus 9. Again, there are no double signs. There's just a single sign. So I'm going to circle the sign that goes with the number. Are those signs the same or are those signs different? Those signs are different. That one's a negative. That one's a positive. Signs are different. You find the difference. So to find the difference, I just do 9 minus 2 is 7. 9 minus 2 is 7. I found the difference. And what do I have more of? Well, let's see. I have 2 negatives, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 positives. Oh, I definitely have more positives. How many more positives? I have 7 extra positives running around. All right, hopefully that worked out for you. Now I'd like you to evaluate these problems using your integer rules. I'm not walking you through, so hopefully you have your student note packet out. You're looking back at the rules yourself, and you're walking yourself through it. So pause the video, try these out. I'll come back with the correct answers. 3 plus a -4 is a -1. -5 plus 2 is a -3. -3 minus a +7 is a -10. -4 plus 6 is a +2. And 2 minus a -8 is a +10. I sure hope you went through your rules of double signs to a single sign, double signs to a single sign, and then you took a look at were the signs the same or the signs different at that point? If the signs are the same, did you find the sum? Signs were different, hopefully you found the difference, and then you kept what you had more of. So hopefully that worked out for you. All right, at this point, go ahead, do your exit ticket. I'll be around to check. If you're waiting on me, move to